Hi there, MiniWarGamer Kris here with a introduction to a new video log with myself. Some of you may recognize my voice or work from the Vault. This will be a somewhat informal video log of what's on my desk as far as projects going through MiniWarGaming and other side projects that I'll be doing. In this couple videos here on the desk today, be working on Matt's Bio-Titan, and so we'll go through a couple stages. Today I'm going to be just working on pinning its feet, reinforcing its legs, and removing this little part that was right under his torso here, and I didn't really care for it. It was used for balance, and so basically all I did was straighten out the feet and get it ready. And so just a little bit of cleaning up here and there and such, and we're going to reinforce the feet. Alright, so we're back to the model here. So you can see the arms have been magnetized for him. And so basically we've just been cleaning up some of the flash and stuff left around the model. I've taken a brass pin, and this will be going on the outside of the claw, and then we'll be disguising this with a little bit of green stuff that we'll be attaching later on. And so basically with this little brass pin here, we are going to take our little needle file and we're going to score the inside of the pin. Now, why score the inside of the pin? And we're also going to score the leg of the model as well. Reason for this is simply so that the glue has something to adhere to. And once we have that, whip out the rusty glue, if I can ever get it open. And so like so, take a little bit of glue, if it'll ever come out. There we go. And we lay it on. Nice. Careful not to attach yourself to your work. Oh, just like that. And there we go. Good grief. There we go. Actually, I'm just going to put a little bit more on here. Quite a bit of a gap. Takes a little bit of an accelerator. Okay. And so we let that sit. And we will prepare the other side. And so basically all I'm doing is I'm just taking a measure of the brass and roughly eyeballing how much of the wire we need, and cut off a section. Now often when you cut brass, you end up with a really sharp kind of end. And so it's best to take your little flat file and file the ends down. Now often if these are just going to be hidden within the model, it's not completely necessary to do so, but I find that if you're going to be leaving it so that these things can touch the table or, you know, your gaming surface, or are just exposed, you really want to take care and file them off, and even round them off if you can. It doesn't take very long. It's minimal amount of work, although it's not terribly exciting to look at, but often it's got to be done. And so like that, I'm planning on having this end, so I am going to bring it to a bit of a rounded end, just so that the model can stand on it and this can freely sit on the table and such. And so there we are. And now the next thing to do is get it so that it adheres to the curve of that spike. And so basically we don't have to apply too much force, but you may also want to use a set of pliers or whatever, just so that you don't hurt yourself. But like I said, because we've rounded off the ends of the wire, and so with this, all I'm doing is I'm just using one of the soft ends of the file and holding the pin at an angle to the mat and applying pressure with the handle of the file, so that I'm getting a bit of a bend. Might be a little difficult to see, but and then it's just kind of trial and error, just seeing where exactly you need to apply more bend, where much of a curve of the surface is. And so there we go. There's too much there, so straighten that back out a bit. Like I said, you gotta kind of go back and forth with it. And might want a little bit more at the bottom. And really, that's about it. And see, as you can see there, well, maybe not, but so like before, we take our file, and where's my round one? There it is. And so we're basically filing the inside surface, so that the side that obviously is going to make contact with the model. Now, why you want to score it, I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. I brought it up, but I didn't quite finish my thought, I suppose. The reason being is so that you're making the surface rougher, so that the glue has something to grab on. And in case I did mention that before, I'm just reinforcing the idea. And we're not too worried about leaving big scratch marks on this side of the claw, as we are going to be coming back later on and using green stuff to cover this rod. And so there we go. Let's move him over there a bit more. Let's come back a little bit. There we go. And so let's get our crazy glue. And this time I am going to use some tweezers. There's my tweezers. There we go. Just so I don't obviously stick my fingers. I'll probably end up still sticking my fingers anyway, but let's see. Oh, I forgot. And there we go. And so use our tweezers, and we put this down. Probably still gonna need to use my finger. but man, get over there, quit being a pain. There we go. And don't worry about if there's a little gap at the bottom either. As when we go in with the green stuff, it'll get cleared up. And so this is basically my first week right on the site of MiniWarGaming here. And so you guys can expect to see more from me and what else is on my desk. Hopefully. We keep this as a fairly regular kind of series. Especially if any of you out there have any kind of questions as far as hobby related stuff and other such things, and possibly previewing of what will be coming up in the vault. And so, as she stands right now, it's not terribly strong on those pins, but once we get the green stuff onto the claws, it'll be quite strong. We might even pin these feet as well. Hard to say. Yeah, I suppose I should. Probably gonna have to shape some of the area away from the foot. Basically for that, we'll just take our knife, make sure it's always nice and sharp. And basically we're going to just shave a flat kind of surface on the top of that foot. And so basically to do that flat surface, all I'm doing is taking the X-Acto blade and putting it right perpendicular to the surface of the claw, and then dragging it across, basically so that you're getting this shaving happening. And so we'll do it for the other foot, hoof or claw, whatever the heck this thing is. And so I was in the office today and saw this thing sitting here, and I know a lot of people have commented that this thing has been sitting on Matt's shelf for so long. I figured I'd take it upon myself and finally get it painted. Now the model's not going to be painted to a competition standard, but it will be painted to a good tabletop standard. And so for these little spots here on the claw, I think I can just go ahead and use just straight pin. I don't even think I need to curve it at all. No, I don't. It just sits on there nice and straight. And this one has a bit of a curve to it, but for the most part it's pretty straight, so we'll just do it like that. I'm going to shave this end down first, just to get it kind of smoothed out a bit. Yeah, often when you're dealing with these fresh ends of brass and you cut them with your wire cutters, often it's very sharp, and if you're not careful you can poke yourself, and obviously will slow down your evening of modeling. And so, how long do I need this? Well, it needs to be about that long. And so, with the super accurate, precise measuring system that I use, I just eyeball it. Oops. That part went flying. Where the heck did it go? Alright, so after hunting around for this pin, we take a little bit, take our file, and file the other end down. And so this model is basically going to get painted just like the rest of Matt's army. I'm not going to go hog wild on details and such. I mean, it's a centerpiece kind of model, so it's going to get some love, but it's not going to be. He's not going to be winning golden demons or anything with this thing, or any kind of painting competition for that matter. And so let's double check here. Is that one longer than that one? I measured this one, didn't I? Yes, I did. Okay, so this one I'm going to have to put a bit of a bend on them, just so that it's going to sit with this claw. And so just give it a slight bend. And again, you might want to use pliers or whatever. And so we take it to the foot. We have a look-see. And that's a little too much. So come back a bit. And now it's not enough. No, actually that's pretty darn good. Good enough. I'm just going to give it a little bit more. Like so. And yeah, there we go. Okay, and so because we filed that one area flat, we're going to use the X-Acto blade and just score that surface up, and we get our glue, which Dan's stolen. I'll be right back. And so take our file, take the pin, score the brass rod, and then we'll take our bit of glue and try and remember what foot we were working on. And apply a little bit of glue ever so slightly. There we go. Not really sure why I went into a funny voice there, but which end was which? That. And without gluing myself again, like I just did. And there you are. You have another little foot pinned. And like I said, we're going to disguise this with green stuff, so. And once the green stuff's on there, it'll add quite a bit of strength to it. So let's get the other foot ready. And so before we do that, let's score it. And we're going to measure out a length of brass. Which is, where's the brass? There it is. So, using the high-tech method of eyeballing, we are going to go right about there. And because we're using such a high-tech method, there we go. And once again, we're flattening out our ends. I suppose if you had a different set of cutters, you probably wouldn't put such a point on it, but brass is quite hard. And somebody's shutting the door on me. And again, we're going to just put this end, and we're going to have this as the end that's going to touch the table. And so we're just going to file it so it has a somewhat roundish end to it so that it doesn't mar up the table surface at all. Flatten this end down too. Lots of fun. And so then we double check with our area, and if it needs to be really flat, and it does have a bit of a bend at the bottom, so we are going to try and put a bit of a bend here at the bottom, just for continuity and so that most of the surface is touching here with the crazy glue. Keep it nice and strong. A bit more bend. And come on. A little bit more, I suppose. And so anybody else who's watching this, have some ideas on what you'd like to see as far as anything I'm working on, feel free to comment below, as I would be happy to show people. Or if you have any questions as far as, you know, hobby related, terrain building. Lately, for the vault, I've been working on terrain. I'm currently working on a project for Dark Potential, which has been quite fun. And so, grab a little bit more glue, glue this down, try to anyway, without gluing myself to the model again. And there we go. Oops, never mind. Okay. Good boy. There we go. Just give that a little bit more glue. There we go. Okay. And hit a little bit of activator on that. And we're good to go. And so, that's all for now. Next time I'll show you what's how I'm green stuffing this thing. Until then, later, and happy wargaming.